Greetings and welcome, my friends. This is sent Enza, but was shipping free? Did the opponent save a pile of money? We're kicking things off with a 3-lander. We have a factory already, as well as a battlefront to call up reinforcements. The early bounce is excellent. That might hold off a large enemy until we get our first robot overlord. Keep your pants on. Our scry land shows us a 4th land on top. We'll need it to fire off the battlefront. They play out an optimizer. Suddenly it feels like we might be in a mirror match. The optimizer is fine, its weakness is removals. We'll play out the foundry. It's like the optimizer, but creature removals can't hit it. They send it. Is that Enza? The good thing about the optimizer is it can get in for hits. At least early it can. We'll play out our first factory. On top we have an island and another factory. We'll keep them both and in that order. We'll draw the land, and the factory outlet will be part of the battlefront package. They take a while to finally play out a Kaito. Maybe this is not a mirror match. Before their Kaito and his ninja panties lands, we'll bounce their optimizer.
I've got all the intel you need. No one said I work
We hit
alone.
4 mana, and it's time for the battlefront. We have only 2 choices, a Sawblades and our factory outlet. We'll take them both, and we'll get our first robot overlord. On top, we have an Adagia and another battlefront. We'll ship the land on down, but another battlefront might be able to crack this game. They use Kaito to make their ninja token unblockable.
Stick to the shadow.
They'll get a loot as well, but they're going to want blockers if they want to keep their ninja planes walker. They drop in a scrap bot. When it enters, it will exile our grave. Not that we need it. We're not reanimating anything this game. They send in their ninja for damages. It's only 2 and they're facing down our growing Menin team.
Time to make our move.
It's time for our second battlefront. They crack their lander token and prepare themselves for what's coming. That looks like double snare. We can snipe a pair of their permanents, and we'll get 4 freshly minted robot overlords. We'll snag Kaito and their blocker. Then we'll send it. Delivery is always free.
I thought I had enough intel.
They're going to need a board wipe or another 4 blockers. A second scrapbot is a start, but they'll need another 3 blockers. They get another, but now they're tapped. That's going to be GG's. Extra robot overlord cheese. This is Fry D for Sky N. Yes, it does look like he fried his D. We get a 3-lander with a pair of bounce, our utility card, and a battlefront. We'll need 1 more land to fire it off, but that shouldn't be too hard to find. Keep your pants on. Our scry land shows us a verge on top, and we'll keep it. That's our 4th mana. They hit us with a shock. The race to 20 has begun. They play out a needlehead. It's a source of damages, but only if it remains on board. Let's hit it with a bounce. They go for their needlehead, but we'll stop this pain train right in its tracks. Negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. They hit us with a shock that bears a different name. Bro must be mad. It's time for the battlefront. Fire in the needlehead hole. That's a factory outlet. We'll take it. The snare would be great, but they don't have anything. We'll take the authority. If they have more men, their own men will work against their shock efforts. On top, we have a land and a snare. We'll ship the land, but the snare might come in handy. They play out a screaming nemesis. That's 3 points they can't send right away, thanks to the authority. We'll play out our snare and take out the nemesis. The only thing it will hit now is the inside of its cage. They play out a second nemesis, and that's a whole shock worth of life they gave us back. Let's get in there. We don't need to play anything out, we can do everything at instant speed. They play out a Hellkite, but it enters tapped and gains us a life. There won't be any damages coming from it. The opponent admits to making an oopsie-poopsie. Stained it, you did, bro. Now we'll make an instant synthesizer. The factory that pops up to surprise the opponent with additional assembly lines. On top, we have a pair of authorities. As good as they are against mono red, they are not the ammo we need. Let's send them on down and hope we get the ammo we deserve. We'll go ahead and make a sorcery speed factory. This will pump our robot overlords to near lethality. All hail our AI masters. Hail me, lol. On top, we have, wait, it doesn't matter, we'll keep it. This game is pretty much over. They need to wipe our men or do 16 damages. Good luck, bro. To my surprise, they send it. No, wait, they hold their nemesis back. I'm not sure what their plan is to survive this attack, but let's get in there. Delivery is always free. Thank you for your order, bro. That's going to be GG's Extra Robot Overlord Cheese. This is Ren. Stimpy is missing, so Ren is on his own. We get a 3-lander with a good mix of cards. A repurposing bay will get us a factory, and we can sacrifice the saw blades. Keep. Our Scryland shows us a factory on top. We'll ship it. Just kidding. That's not going anywhere but into our hand. We'll play out our authority. Enemy men will be slowed down while we drop in our artifacts and work on building a team. On top, we have a repurposing bay and a battlefront. We don't need 2 bays, so we'll send it on down. We'll still need a 4th land for the battlefront, but we'll be ready when we get it. Let's drop in the bay, and we'll get our first robot overlord. We're pretty sure they'll have removal, but they won't be able to stop all our men. We draw 3 steps ahead, but we don't have any plays. Your go, my bro. They play out the family station wagon. The wood panels on the side give it that classic look everyone loves. That thing has gotten popular all of a sudden. We don't have a target, but we'll drop in our saw blades anyways. It's excellent food for our bay. Let's repurpose the saw blades and we can fetch out a helm. Once we make a token synthesizer, the helm can make a copy of it every time we untap. Our Scryland shows us an Uthros on top. We'll keep it. All those lands, but no plays. What's going on? We'll fire off our battlefront and see what we can get. Those are 5 lands on top, with a snare as our only option. We'll take it. We can snag their station wagon and get more robot overlords. They fire off a smuggler's surprise. It is a surprise. We should have seen that coming. They drop in a Bahama Mama and a Tyrant. Their mama takes out our attacking robot overlord. Lucky for us, their men enter tapped it, or this would have gone much worse. Stage 2 of Mom's ability takes out our authority. They must have more men coming. They send it, and we'll have to take this big hit. We do have a plan, one we've used in the past. They fire off a removal to eliminate our last robot overlord. Getting rid of the grave is no big deal. We weren't going to dig up any cards. We have just enough mana to bounce and make a copy. That's going to be our plan. We could go for it now, but let's hit them with the surprise on their turn. They send it, and now we go for the trap. Let's bounce their Bahama Mama. Then we can copy our snare. No wait, they fire off a surprise to give their men hexproof. We can't take the hit from their mama, so we'll fire off our second bounce. We can take the damages from the Tyrant. That's a surprise, they have another. But of course they do. We have no choice but to counter it. We're forced to burn our card to stay alive. We draw another authority and we'll play it out. We can follow up with the second bay to generate another robot overlord. We'll use a map token. We just need to see what's on top. They hit our robot overlord with a removal, and that's going to be GG's. There was not enough cheese. We take one step back, but we'll fight on. This is Sheldon. He likes TMNT no matter what anyone says. We get a 3-lander with a factory and a couple of our defensive cards. Nothing wrong with this. Keep. Our Scryland shows us a Sawblades on top, and that's yet another removal. We'll keep it. We'll drop in our authority. Enemy men will have to respect our authority. They drop in a cheering crowd. It's from Spider Paths, so immediately the card is suspect. It could give us colorless mana. Yeah, you can keep it, bro. We'll decline the invitation. A single mana isn't going to be much use at the moment. Let's get our factory outlet down and we can fire up the production lines. On top we have a helm and a snare. We do like both, and we'll keep them in that order. They do go for the mana, and that lets them play out a hulking raptor. It's a normal raptor, but on performance-enhancing candies. This time around, we'll get 2 mana if we accept. I think we'll do it. Let's play out the saw blades, and we can take out their raptor. Such a sad shame. Don't let the dino meat go to waste, bro. Meat is back on the menu, boys. Let's put a stop on their upkeep when we'll fire off our bounce and send their crowd to go get some pants. Looks like the crowd is all they've got going on. We'll accept their free mana. It'll help us play out the helm, and we'll have mana left to activate it. That's 2 freshly minted robot overlords right off the assembly line. Some of their parts are still warm. Wanna feel, bro? They play out a hammer skull. That's a big dino steak once we cook it. Too bad for them it enters tapped. They follow up with another crowd. That's going to be a free 4 colorless mana on our turn. This is why people don't play these. They give the opponent too much of an advantage. We'll drop in our snare and that will snag their blocker. No wait, they get the smell out of town. GG's, not much cheese needed. This is Shad Why Mad Bro. No wait, Skill Z. Why Mad Skill Z? Trouble with the keyboard, bro. We get a 4-lander with a removal, a foundry, and our top end, a battlefront. Keep your pants on. We'll drop in the foundry, we can play out our Uthros on our next turn and still have mana for the snare if we need it. They play out an Amalia, the Gain and Drain crew has arrived on the big show. We'll go with our snare and snag their Amalia. Let's not have that thing breathing down our necks before we've gotten set up. They drop in an authority, and that does it for their turn. It's time for our battlefront. Fire in the life gain hole. We'll take a factory, of course, and a snare is a good option. On top, we have a pair of lands. We'll ship them both. They fire off a sweeper to clear out our robot overlords. One step at a time, we're getting there. This is I Suck. We know, bro, we know. We get a mono-white shuffler special. There is no blue in these lands. Mull. Then we get a shuffler special with one of each color. At least this a little bit better. Keep. We'll ship the bounce. We have a pair of defensive measures, which we hope will hold us up while we get lands for the battlefront. We draw a third land, which is a huge boost. This turn we'll drop in our authority. They play out the Chocobo side quest. It gives them a golden turkey token, but it doesn't come with a side of gravy. We draw a factory outlet, get in their Synthesizer. On top we have an Uthros and a bounce. That's our fourth land, so we'll keep it, but the bounce will send on down. We want to increase the chances of our battlefront hitting on permanents we want on board. They play out a Shoe Puff. It does a great job of pumping golden turkeys. They come in at us for a 6 spot, nothing we can do but take the hit. We can play out the Foundry and follow up with the Saw Blades to take out their golden turkey. Someone start making some gravy. They play out a Catsroy. He loves entering tapped and hates turkey sandwiches. Our Scryland shows us a land on top. We'll ship it since we're about to fire off our battlefront. Fire in the golden turkey hole. That's another factory outlet. No, wait, let's take the helm and the snare. We'll snag. No, wait, they scoop it up like Baskin-Robbins employees. GG's, extra cheese. This is Mistweeper. He's already crying. No, wait, it's Mistweaver. We get a 3-lander with a good mix of lands, and we have some early defensive measures that we can turn into a factory. I like it. Keep. Wait, let's drop in our Scryland. We aren't going to make any plays this turn anyways, and it's better to get the tap lands out of the way. On top, we have a 5th land, but we'll send it on down. We draw another authority, and we'll play it out. Surely a Selesnya deck will be relying on men to get the job done. They play out a Fenrir, ramping to Knights of Round, maybe? We'll play out our Saw Blades and crack their Fenrir. We can trade in the Saw Blades for a factory using our Bay. We draw a Foundry, and we'll play it out. We can follow up with the Bay, and we'll be set to take advantage of it on our next turn. They play out an enchantment removal. They'll be able to snipe any one of our permanents. For some reason, they select the Foundry. That's an oopsie poopsie. It's time to trade up. We'll grab a factory outlet and start up the production lines. On top, we have a land and a battlefront. We'll ship the land, but we're ready for a pair of artifacts to trigger our factory. They go for another enchantment removal, but we can't let them get lucky and nail our factory. Negative Ghost Rider. The pattern is full. The fire off the token-making portion of a white virtue, as if that's gonna save their enchantment. Fire in the token hole. Well, it's not the best battlefront, but it's also not the worst. We'll take the helm and a foundry. We have the mana to use the helm to make a copy of our robot overlord. They play out a Yuna, so that's the plan. Let's copy up our robot overlord before they get something back from the grave. They get the enchantment removal we countered and use it to snag our factory. The helm will be producing all the AI men from here on out. We draw a snare. That's fantastic. Let's play it out and we can take one of their permanents. I like getting our factory back for another scry. On top we have a pair of lands, but we'll ship them both. Let's make another robot overlord, then send it. This delivery is free and goes straight to the face. Luckily they have a blocker or we'd be smelling them later. The map token shows us another factory on top. They need a sweeper or a pair of removals. Men will enter tapped and won't be able to block. What's it gonna be? They play out an Ouroboros. That's nice and all, but it can't block. Yuna gets their Fenrir back and it suddenly dawns on them that they won't be able to block. GG's bro, extra robot overlord cheese. And that, my friends, is another satisfied customer.